I'm going to tell you something really embarrassing. Now, before I lost 40 pounds, by changing what I was eating, the foods that I used to eat, I thought they were normal. So I would have processed food in my diet. I thought I ate healthy, but I did have more convenience foods in my diet instead of natural real foods. And what I would experience throughout the day is quite a bit of gas. So I would fart 3 to 5 times a day. And I know that's so crazy. I really haven't told this to many people before, but I did. I just thought it was normal. I thought that's what it was. Like, that's what you do. But guess what? After I changed what I was eating, lost 40 pounds, I realized I don't have gas anymore. I feel like my digestion is so smooth. My gut health feels so great and so healthy. And I just don't have that anymore. It doesn't happen. And so what I realized is that there was something going on with the food that I was eating and the things that I was feeling. So I would start to feel I also had things like a puffiness in my face that just wouldn't go away. I would have things like I had that extra weight that didn't budge. I felt tired. I had digestive issues, and then I even felt like mentally a little bit down after I would eat certain foods. So what I found is that after I started eating foods that were real and were natural and were anti-inflammatory, that's where my whole body felt smoother. Food passed through my body nicely, and I just felt like I could sail through the day. And it felt really amazing. And so what I learned is this anti-inflammatory way of eating has really, really had a transformative shift in my life and for the lives of my clients who I've helped as well. So what I want to share with you a little bit are some anti-inflammatory foods that you can start adding to your day. And the more of these foods that you have, the more your inflammation that you don't even realize that you have. Like, you may think the way you're feeling is normal, but it's not. Like, you can actually feel like you're on another level. Like, you can feel light. You can feel like you're just like floating. You can just feel like your stomach is always smooth and flat. Imagine that, okay? It can totally happen, even if you feel the opposite of that, okay? So now, first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about what inflammation is, and then I'm going to share some of the foods with you, and I'm going to actually share the exact, what I call superfoods that I have in my diet and super choices that I make throughout the day to help me staying in this really, really, really light and healthy and vibrant lifestyle. Now, inflammation, to give you a little bit of background, it's a physiological response to viruses, pathogens, dust particles, or other foreign organisms. So for example, when you catch the flu, you're temporarily inflamed. But the problem is that we experience inflammation throughout our whole body for an extended period of time, and that's overall inflammation. It's chronic inflammation. It comes on so slowly that you don't even notice it. Okay, so it turns up slowly over time, and it eventually does damage. Now, let me tell you some symptoms to help you see if you might be inflamed. Here's some common symptoms: extra weight around your belly, extra weight that doesn't go away no matter what, digestive problems like gas, like I had, constipation, bloating, or diarrhea. You may have some skin problems like red, blotchy skin. You may feel puffy in the face, or you may look puffy in the face, or have dark circles under your eyes. And then also, if you have achy joints, that's obviously a sign of inflammation. And you may even have brain fog, anxiety, or some forms of depression. Now, one of the major causes of inflammation is eating anti-inflammatory foods. Now, inflammation can also come from toxins, and it can come from other things in the air, but a lot of the reason is something that we control, and that is eating inflammatory foods. That's what I meant. So it causes irritation and it pushes your immune system into overdrive. Now, you don't have to live this way. You don't have to feel bloated. You don't have to have this extra weight around your belly. You don't have to feel this brain fog. You can actually feel clear, and you can feel like your body is just operating like so nicely. And you can do that by eating an anti-inflammatory diet. Now, an anti-inflammatory diet is super important because it's the single most important way to undo inflammation for health, longevity, weight loss, and disease prevention. Now, there's so much evidence that shows that inflammation in your body can lead to really damaging things in your life, including heart problems, diabetes, digestive issues, and even cancer. And so if you don't feel good in your body, that's already bad enough. But if you know that eating that having an inflamed body can lead to these very dire health conditions, that's even more serious. So putting all this together, I want to share with you that eating anti-inflammatory foods can actually be delicious and filling and tasty. And so I want to introduce you to what that is. Okay, so now, first of all, I want to tell you about some of my favorite anti-inflammatory foods. Now, I have a very detailed blog post that I'm going to link here. Actually, I have two detailed blog posts. The one I want you to take a look at is 21 anti-inflammatory foods, and I'm going to share that with you. But what I'm going to share out of those 21 anti-inflammatory foods that I eat on a regular basis. Okay. Now, one of the things that I definitely eat regularly, and I have, one of the things that I eat all the time is having salmon in my diet. So this is obviously if you eat fish. I am personally a pescatarian, so I eat fish as my form of protein, but salmon is high in omega-3 fats, and this is some of the most potent anti-inflammatory substances for our body. Adding more omega-3s to your diet is going to help you relieve inflammation and also reduce the need for anti-inflammatory medication. Now, there's other anti-inflammatory fish, including mackerel, sardines, sole, and trout. So try those out. They're going to help you with inflammation, though salmon is really, really quite amazing. Okay, so that's one thing. I usually have my lunch is salmon. And then I have asparagus, which is high in fiber, and it keeps me full for a long time. And the other thing is there's another perk of asparagus, which is that it helps to reduce water retention, and so that reduces bloating as well. Okay. Now, I also want to share with you something really exciting that you may not know is anti-inflammatory, and that is coffee. Coffee is anti-inflammatory. Also, there's green tea and black tea. Those are also anti-inflammatory. Now, a recent study at Stanford University found that caffeine has anti-inflammatory effects. Now, green tea is packed with antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds, but coffee, just because it's caffeinated, is anti-inflammatory. The other thing about coffee is that if you use cinnamon in it, cinnamon is another anti-inflammatory element, an anti-inflammatory spice, and that cinnamon has this compound called cinnamonaldehyde, which inhibits proteins that trigger pro-inflammatory genes. And cinnamon also targets belly fat, and it improves insulin sensitivity. It keeps your blood sugar low. It manages your blood sugar. And the other perk of cinnamon and adding cinnamon to your coffee is that it decreases the need for sugar. So that's a really, really great combo to have, is cinnamon and coffee, because they're both anti-inflammatory. Then having the salmon, having with asparagus, that's a fabulous meal. The other things that are super anti-inflammatory, and then I'm going to tell you my favorite and the favorite anti-inflammatory spice, but some of the best anti-inflammatory foods are leafy greens and other forms of greens. So greens, bok choy, and broccoli are amazing for anti-inflammation. They're really filling, so you feel very satisfied. Broccoli is high in antioxidants and vitamins, and it's super easy to prepare. Bok choy is a mild tasting Chinese cabbage. You can steam it, you can chop it, or you can just eat it raw. And then leafy greens are things like chard, kale, or spinach, and they're high in antioxidants. They're high in vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, and you can have as many as you want. It's like the more, the better. And whenever I eat greens like this, my whole body feels so great. My gut feels amazing. It feels like I'm just really treating myself, and I'm just getting all of the things that I'm craving. It's like I'm getting so satisfied because I'm eating these foods that are so good for my body. And so now like I said, I just walk through the day and I feel great. The only time I ever feel like I have gas is after I eat a processed food or after I eat something like pizza, and I notice it right away. And I don't like feeling like that. And so that naturally helps me not want to eat those foods as much. I still eat them, but I don't eat them as much because I don't want to feel that way. Now, I want to tell you a couple quick tips about eating foods that make your body feel really good. Is one of the things is when you're eating anti-inflammatory foods, guess what? You don't have to focus on calories. All the foods I told you are very, very good for you, but guess what? They're all low in calories. Overall, salmon is something that you want that can get higher in calories if you eat a lot of it. But when you are eating these kinds of foods, you don't have to worry about calories. It's more about focusing on the types of food that you're eating. And that's why I love eating an anti-inflammatory focused diet, because everything that you're eating it because it makes you feel good. And the foods that make you feel good are all really good for you. And you don't really have to focus on your portion sizes. You don't really have to focus on on how much you're eating. I didn't focus on my calories at all. I didn't count 1 calorie the entire time I lost 40 pounds. And I still don't count my calories to this day because I don't need to, since I eat a diet filled with anti-inflammatory foods. They're super good for my body. Now, the other thing that I want to tell you is that a lot of the reasons that we eat convenience food or processed foods are because it's fast and easy. Well, there is a way to make anti-inflammatory foods and greens and veggies healthy for you or fast for you. And the thing is, I want to share with you, it's perfectly fine. It's even great for you to buy frozen foods. So you can buy frozen broccoli, frozen cauliflower, frozen spinach. You can buy salmon and freeze it so that you always have salmon in your fridge. You can buy, so many of these foods that you're going to see on my list of 21 anti-inflammatory foods that are really, really, easy to have. That brings me to my favorite anti-inflammatory spice. So when you have spices, they're so great because you have them in your pantry. They last. At a certain point, you want to replace your spices, but it's not for a while. So when you have spices, it's a really simple way and a really easy way to get that anti-inflammatory boost into your diet. So what I recommend, or my favorite spice, and it's like the favorite spice for anti-inflammation, is turmeric. So turmeric is extremely anti-inflammatory. In fact, it is prescribed in a tablet form by many doctors for people that have joint pain or that have inflammatory issues. And so if you use it in your cooking or if you use it in a tablet, either one is fine, but you're getting that natural anti-inflammation. It's a wonder spice. So that's another easy, quick way to have this anti-inflammatory boost. And then finally, I just want to share with you that when you feel amazing about what you're eating, you want to eat it. I've been talking about craving healthy foods. Well, when you start getting the high, it's like a vegetable high. Okay. I'm calling it a vegetable high. When you get that high from eating vegetables, you want to eat it all the time because you know how great it's making your body feel. And so now whenever I eat anything processed, or when any one of my clients eats things that are processed, they start to feel uncomfortable. They feel tired. Their body feels gross. And so instead of fighting themselves from these cravings, they've actually transformed their bodies. They've transformed the way that they eat, because their bodies don't react to processed food in the same way, because now they have a contrast. They know that they don't have to feel that way, that it's not normal to feel so uncomfortable. And so now, like when any of my clients or myself has any processed food or has anything that's not anti-inflammatory, we get a stomach ache, we get gas, we feel tired, and that's the natural reaction. And so when you start getting that, imagine that you don't want to feel like that. So as a result, you eat healthy, and as a result of eating healthy, you have a body that you feel comfortable in. You have skin that's shiny. You have a brain that's operating at an A+ level. And you're just optimizing yourself from top to bottom. And not to mention, you're going to be able to fit into all your clothes a lot more nicely. So that's kind of how the chain goes. It's not about forcing yourself to eat healthy foods, but really realizing the benefits and how amazing you feel when you eat foods that are good for your body and good for your gut. And so definitely check out the 21 Anti-Inflammatory Foods article. And thank you so much.